Some rock formations on Earth appear so perfectly shaped that they look as if they were designed by artificial intelligence. Massive stone structures have stood silently for thousands of years in places where they seem impossible to exist. There are canyons with smooth, flowing curves that resemble ribbons carved deep into the heart of the Earth. Some landscapes take on such strange forms that they seem like works of art left behind by a long-lost civilization. Yet many of these places continue to spark debate among scientists because their true origins remain a mystery. These are the strangest geological wonders on the planet, where nature has sculpted shapes that go far beyond anything the human imagination could conceive. Located in Utah, United States, Goblin Valley State Park is known for thousands of sandstone pillars shaped by long-term natural erosion processes. These rock formations developed from sandstone layers formed around 170 million years ago, showing ancient sediment history in the region. The terrain allows visitors to walk freely among the rock columns without fixed paths, creating direct interaction with the geological structures. Some pillars reach up to about 20 feet, creating a noticeable change in spatial scale when people move close to them. Harder rock layers on top protect the softer base, helping the formations maintain their distinctive shapes over long periods. The area concentrates dense rock formations across about 3 square miles, making it one of the most accessible, high-density hoodoo landscapes. Located within the vast plains of New Mexico in the United States, the Shiprock Formation rises majestically like a creation from a completely different planet. This geological wonder is actually the solidified magma core of an ancient volcanic throat that ceased its activity over 30 million long years ago. Reaching a height of nearly 1,600 feet, this solitary rock climbs toward the sky like a giant ship, cutting through the desert waves. Natural stone walls, stretching for several miles, radiate from the central mountain to create a geometric structure that is remarkably rugged and very strange. The persistent erosion of nature has stripped away all the soft outer soil layers to reveal the tough and hardy backbone of solid rock. The brilliant reddish-brown hues of the rare minette rock produce a powerful contrast against the silent space surrounding this very sacred ancestral land. The massive Manpupuner rock pillars stand as an ancient architectural wonder guarding the remote plateau within the Komi Republic of the vast Russian territory. There are 7 sturdy quartz columns here, with the maximum height reaching 138 feet, equal to a 14-story modern building. These giant stone blocks are actually the remaining hard cores after the surrounding soft earth was eroded over 200 million long years. The shapes of the stone pillars transform strangely, with some bulging at the top and narrowing at the base like ancient ceramic vases. The native Mansi people have for generations preserved a spiritual belief that these stone columns are biological beings that were permanently turned into stone. To witness this wonder with your own eyes, travelers must overcome a trekking journey through dense forests and swamps spanning about 124 miles. In Norway, Trolltunga is recognized as a natural rock ledge that extends horizontally from a cliff where this rare structure has formed and remained unchanged over time. The ledge measures about 90 feet long and sits around 3,700 feet above sea level, providing a wide observation point. This formation developed during the Ice Age when massive glaciers cracked and separated rock from the mountain over thousands of years. The vertical drop below the ledge reaches roughly 2,500 feet, creating a clear open space directly beneath visitors. The rock remains stable because its base is still firmly attached to the larger mountain structure behind it. The ledge is wide enough for several people to stand at once on a section that extends completely outward without any support underneath. Reynisfjara Beach is located near Vik village in southern Iceland, creating a powerful impression with dark basalt columns rising from the mysterious ink-colored volcanic sands. These hexagonal rock blocks stack tightly together, forming a massive staircase structure, which is the direct result of the rapid cooling process of volcanic lava. Local legends tell that those sea stacks standing 217 feet tall offshore were actually trolls turned to stone when morning light suddenly appeared. This jet-black shore is created from crushed volcanic rock, possessing the ability to filter water and retain heat much better than common golden sand types. Architects borrowed the sharp and angular shapes of these cliffs to design unique roofs that deeply carry the soul and spirit of this island nation. The waves at this location can reach 30 feet high, carrying enough energy to move heavy boulders weighing several tons across the dark coastal shore. Hidden within Mono County, in California Crowley Lake, columns reveals thousands of strange stone pillars resembling an ancient temple that had been long forgotten. These 20 feet tall columns, formed from a volcanic explosion with a terrifying power 2,000 times greater than the famous St. Helens Mountain event. Ancient steam vents welded ash into sturdy stone pillars, possessing circular rings wrapped around them, just like the segments found on bamboo stalks. Erosion from lake waves in 1941 accidentally rescued this stone complex from the dirt and sand, covering it for 760,000 years. About 5,000 grey stone pillars stand close together, forming a maze of caves with brilliant orange veins from oxidized minerals within the rocks. This mystical landscape looks like the ribs of a prehistoric monster, marking the persistent and enduring tectonic process of our planet since ancient times. This is the Etretat Cliffs in Normandy, a breathtaking part of the Alabaster Coast where soft white limestone has been carved by nature into towering vertical walls. Over millions of years, wind and waves eroded the headlands to create three massive natural arches that stretch out into the deep blue waters of the Atlantic. These arches possess such perfect symmetrical curves that they appear to be crafted by human tools rather than formed through the slow process of physical erosion. During the 19th century, Etretat became a dream destination for French artists and writers who captured its wild romantic beauty in world-famous paintings and literature. Walking along the shore beneath these radiant white cliffs, you feel the collision of eternal landscapes and the constant movement of the wind and tides. Despite their solid appearance, the cliffs are constantly changing as ice and snow expand small cracks, causing sections of stone to fall into the sea over centuries. Tucked away in Thailand's Mueang Khan province, Hin Sam Wan resembles a pod of giant stone whales breaching a vast sea of tropical rainforest. Located within the Phu Sing Forest Park, these three main rock masses are part of the Khorat Plateau, formed between 75 and 115 million years ago. Standing atop these structures feels like walking on the skin of a massive prehistoric creature, overlooking the dense forest and the distant Mekong River. From a drone's perspective, the three rocks appear as a family of whales, swimming in a parallel, their rounded backs shaped by wind and time. Geologists emphasize that these sandstone layers were exposed and shaped through tectonic uplift, revealing ancient material dating back to the early Cretaceous period. Recently discovered as a hidden wonder of northeast Thailand, it has become a premier viewpoint for ecotourism, where the stone landscape meets the vibrant green wilderness. Located right next to the center of La Paz Valle de las Animas, appears as a mysterious Mars-like terrain situated at nearly 4,000 meters above sea level. Spanning over 2,500 hectares, this area encompasses a dense stone forest hidden within the expansive urban reaches of the high mountain region. From above, the entire valley surface appears covered by thousands of continuous stone spikes with almost no significant open spaces between them. Walking between these thick stone pillars requires squeezing through narrow gaps under 2 feet, feeling like entering mystical doors into a world of rock. This land is recognized as a vital geological and spiritual symbol of the city where ancient stones and human history have coexisted for centuries. The stone columns arranged in endless rows make this the perfect backdrop for drone footage resembling a giant geological comic book in real life. Formed over millions of years of erosion, Bryce Canyon National Park in the United States appears as a dense field of hoodoo rock columns, creating a rare geological structure. These rock columns form through repeated freezing and thawing cycles that gradually break and reshape the stone over long periods. Some of these formations can rise above 150 feet, reflecting erosion processes that lasted for many millions of years. The average elevation is around 8,000 feet, which supports frequent weathering cycles that continue shaping the rock formations. The columns are densely arranged within a wide basin, like space forming a continuous and connected landscape across a large area. In some sections, the rock pillars stand only a few feet apart, creating a nearly solid structure that is rarely seen in natural environments. Balanced rock in the United States is a massive sandstone formation where a top section weighing hundreds of tons rests on a very small contact point, creating a structure that appears difficult to believe as stable. The rock stands about 35 feet tall and weighs hundreds of tons, with its full mass pressing onto only a few square feet of contact area. This structure formed over tens of millions of years through uneven erosion between rock layers with different hardness levels. The lower base erodes faster due to direct exposure, which gradually creates the clear, top-heavy shape seen today. Layered sandstone structures reveal formation in ancient environments and help explain the current geological structure. A small change at the base can reduce stability because the entire weight is concentrated on a very narrow contact point. Located in the Nevşehir province of Turkey, Cappadocia, emerges as an alien planet with unusual geological structures that challenge every law of physics. The strongest visual highlight is thousands of giant mushroom-shaped tough stone columns with some natural stone towers reaching as high as 130 feet in the desert. This miracle was formed from compressed volcanic ash, a type of stone that is soft for carving but turns into permanent hard rock upon contact with air. Humans exploited that characteristic to build underground cities 280 feet deep, providing enough safe space for approximately 20,000 residents to live. The tectonic scale of this entire wonder region spreads over 1,900 square miles, equivalent to the area of the entire state of Delaware in the United States. Today, Cappadocia has become the hot air balloon capital of the world, as it allows hundreds of airships to fly together to admire the massive stone labyrinth. This is Bisti and Denazin, a mysterious land in New Mexico featuring sunken canyons that look like a giant stone lake in the heart of the desert. The rock layers here were formed 70 million years ago, when this area was still a river floodplain and marshes during the late Cretaceous period. In the Navajo language, the name Bisti means eroded adobe land, which accurately describes the bizarre landscape sculpted by the relentless forces of rain and wind. Capped rock pillars, arranged in rows like miniature geological temples, are the result of natural carving lasting for tens of millions of years across time. This land preserves countless fossils of dinosaurs and ancient plants, hidden within coal layers located deep beneath the exposed surfaces of the desert floor. Here, the Kirtland Shale layers mark the extinction boundary of dinosaurs and represent one of the few places on Earth where this boundary is visible. In Turkmenistan, the Darvaza gas crater, famously known as the Door to Hell, stands as one of the most powerful and impressive landmarks on the planet. A geological exploration accident in 1971 accidentally created this massive crater, measuring about 230 feet wide and over 65 feet deep. Instead of filling it in, scientists lit the gas on fire to prevent toxic leaks, creating a permanent furnace that remains active to this day. This geological structure maintains its unique character because a giant, natural gas pocket underground continuously fuels hundreds of small internal fires. The surreal landscape creates a strong impression due to the total contrast between the arid desert and the glowing red pit that never goes out. This unique destination remains the most attractive site in the country thanks to its unusual beauty and the massive scale created by a human mistake. Mount Nyiragongo in North Kivu, Congo stands as one of the most unusual geological wonders on the planet, with its mesmerizing and massive crater structure. The uniqueness of this location lies in its frequently open and exposed lava flows, showcasing the raw tectonic power of the Earth's crustal plates. This landmark possesses the largest continuously active lava lake in the world, with a width of approximately 2,300 feet, located deep within the tectonic basin. The depth from the rim to the bottom of the crater reaches 3,900 feet, creating a massive pit of terrifying scale that defies all normal landscape rules. The magma flows here have extremely low viscosity and can reach travel speeds of over 60 miles per hour when eruptions occur. The unique geological structure at Mount Nyiragongo provides a surreal visual experience of a primitive land that is constantly and endlessly changing. The Danakil Depression in the Afar region of Ethiopia is the meeting point of three tectonic plates, creating a depression about 410 feet below sea level. This landscape looks like another planet, with vast white salt flats formed by the evaporation of ancient seawater. The accumulation of minerals like sulfur and iron oxides dyes the ground, creating unique and brilliant yellow bands. The thin Earth crust allows extremely strong acid streams to erupt continuously, forming pools with a pH level near zero. The geological subsidence process, occurring continuously for 30 million years, is still causing this special area to sink further every year. This is a natural laboratory, helping scientists study extraterrestrial life thanks to its extremely harsh geological conditions. In the Wyoming region of the United States, Devil's Tower stands as a majestic stone masterpiece with thousands of prismatic columns stacked together in surreal beauty. This geological structure consists of perfectly uniform hexagonal pillars featuring surfaces as tough as metal and weighing billions of tons deep within the ancient Earth. Each individual stone column has a diameter of 10 feet, which is equivalent to the total width of a common small sedan car found everywhere. The entire tower reaches 867 feet high, which equals a 65-story building, reflecting onto the lush green pine forests nearby. On the cliff surfaces, there still remain decayed wooden stakes from a ladder hundreds of feet long, nailed into crevices during the year 1893. Colorful prayer cloths, tied to tree branches around the tower base, serve as bright evidence of the vibrant spiritual life of the local indigenous people. This is Delicate Arch in Utah, a 52-foot sandstone portal that stands as the most iconic natural arch within the vast Arches National Park landscape. Before its official naming in 1934, this formation carried humorous nicknames like Cowboys Chaps and Old Maids Bloomers due to its unique and expressive shape. The arch features a wide opening that acts like a massive window between heaven and earth, allowing hikers to stand beneath its ancient towering stone frame. Walking around the structure reveals a balanced three-dimensional geometry showing how wind and water carved the Entrada sandstone into a masterpiece of natural engineering over time. Despite its delicate appearance, the arch is composed of high-quality slick rock member, which is significantly harder and more durable than many other surrounding stone formations. Geological surveys suggest that while erosion is constant, this magnificent arch will likely endure for tens of thousands of years before the forces of nature eventually prevail. Krishna Butterball in India is known for a massive rock resting on a slope while remaining stable for many centuries. The rock stands about 20 feet tall and weighs over 250 tons, forming a rare, large object positioned on an inclined surface. Its center of mass sits lower than the main slope direction, allowing it to remain balanced without sliding. The smooth, curved surface and sloped base make the contact point difficult to clearly observe. Even on a steep surface, friction between the rock and ground is strong enough to keep it stable over time. In a historical attempt, 7 elephants were used to pull it, but no measurable movement was recorded. Located on the Colorado Plateau Canyonlands, appears as a massive three-dimensional map of the Earth with magnificent layers of sandstone stacked together. These solid red rock formations were created from millions of years of compressed desert sand and ancient rivers before transforming into stone. Spreading across more than 520 square miles, this area forms one of the largest and most complex canyon systems in the United States. A meal by the Red Cliffs makes you feel like human existence lasts only a blink of an eye compared to the eternal permanence of rock. The park is divided into 4 distinct districts, with each region being a unique topographical system carved entirely from the ancient power of sandstone. Indigenous people left rock writings on sandstone walls like human whispers beside the rustling sound of stone and wind from ancient times. Antelope Canyon in Arizona, United States, is a stunning geological masterpiece formed from Navajo sandstone blocks dating back 190 million years. Flash floods over millions of years have carved the hard rock into narrow walls 120 feet deep with surreal flowing curves. The landscape here is world famous for vertical light beams piercing through the narrow crevices to create a brilliant and enchanting space for visitors. Each step within the canyon floor, which is only 2 to 3 feet wide, brings a sense of awe at the grand tectonic scale of nature. The Navajo people consider this landmark a sacred land, and they directly manage all sightseeing activities for international tourists. This unique geological structure is the clearest evidence of the persistent erosive power of water on solid sandstone surfaces. You might find it hard to believe that in the arid region of Western Australia exists wave rock, a massive granite formation shaped like a sea wave. This ancient granite cliff possesses an impressive height of about 50 feet and a length extending up to 360 feet across the ground. This unique geological structure is famous for its smooth, curved shape that looks exactly like a giant wave about to crash down. Vertical stripes of iron and minerals clinging to the rock surface create a colorful and extremely distinct appearance. The formation of the cliff originated from a chemical erosion process that occurred continuously for millions of years deep underground. Visitors standing before this billion-year-old wonder will feel the magnificent tectonic scale of the pristine natural world. Rising from the turbulent waters of the Orkney archipelago in Scotland, the Old Man of Holy Sea Stack stands alone like a soldier guarding the ocean. This red sandstone tower possesses an impressive height of 450 feet, equal to a 45-story building, standing precariously amidst the white waves. This geological structure formed approximately 400 years ago after the main cliffs were eroded by seawater and eventually separated from the rugged main island. The base of the pillar is strangely narrow, with many deep hollows caused by the constant pounding of large waves, making the mass look fragile. Layers of stone with brilliant rust-colored hues are stacked together to create a rough wall filled with many marks of time and sea salt. Tens of thousands of seabirds choose the crevices on the cliff as their nesting places, turning the dry stone pillar into a very vibrant ecosystem. Mono Lake in California is an ancient salt lake with no outlet known for tall tufa towers and a rare extreme chemical environment. The lake contains trillions of brine shrimp and single-cell algae, creating a dense biological system despite having no fish. Tufa towers form underwater through chemical reactions and only become visible when water levels shift over long periods. The lake has no outflow, so minerals have accumulated continuously for over 700,000 years without being washed away. Each year, about 1 to 2 million migratory birds stop here, using the abundant small organisms as a major food source. Some tufa structures rise up to 30 feet directly from the water, creating a geological landscape that is difficult to replicate elsewhere. This is Yehilu Geopark in Taiwan, a rocky promontory stretching over 1,000 meters into the sea, pushed up from the ocean floor by tectonic forces. Spanning approximately 420 acres, this narrow strip of land contains hundreds of unique rock structures ranging from thin candles to hovering mushroom caps. These shapes, resembling animal heads or stone candles, are the result of steady erosion over thousands of years, giving hard rock a soft and vivid appearance. With about 180 recorded mushroom rocks standing 5 to 12 feet tall, the area creates a dense yet perfectly organized geological landscape. Chemical reactions with mineral-rich seawater have created various color patterns on the rock caps, forming dark rings like stains of time. Walking along the curved coastal path, you feel guided through a three-dimensional map of stone, where every step reveals unique and solitary rock pillars. Along the banks of the Lena River in the Yakutia region of Russia, massive stone pillars rise majestically to create a mysterious natural fortress wall. This extraordinary geological system reaches heights of nearly 1,000 feet, which is comparable to a 100-story skyscraper stretching for 50 miles. This unusual structural wonder was slowly crafted from ancient limestone sedimentary layers that originated more than 500 million years in the distant past. Within the deep, eternal crevices lie precious fossil treasures of Ice Age creatures such as giant woolly mammoths and rare prehistoric woolly rhinoceros species. The persistent erosion of the river, combined with extreme thawing cycles, has carved sharp, rugged formations that possess a truly unique and alien appearance. Vibrant stripes of red and gray across the cliffs produce a powerful contrast against the deep blue water and the surrounding dense needle-leaf forests. Rising sharply from the Arizona desert, the massive red sandstone of Cathedral Rock stands like a natural fortress carved by the ancient hands of wind and sun. Born from coastal sand dunes nearly 300 million years ago, the rocks of Cathedral Rock endured immense geological shifts to reveal their powerful presence today. From afar, the twin spires appear, with sharp, dramatic lines resembling a grand Gothic cathedral, where the endless blue sky serves as the only roof. Reaching this masterpiece requires conquering steep and slippery rock faces, a challenge that demands both patience and the right gear for every step. For those in Sedona, it is a cathedral without walls, where the stillness of stone and the dance of light create a profound sense of spiritual wonder. Standing at the saddle between the two main peaks of Cathedral Rock, you find yourself at the heart of the wonder, overlooking the breathtaking glory of the entire Red Rock wilderness. Located in the Mele-Laki region of Madagascar, the Tsingy de Bemaraha Reserve appears as a massive limestone labyrinth recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This landmark is famous for millions of razor-sharp stone towers forming a natural fortress spreading across 375,000 acres. These strange limestone structures originally formed from marine remains at the bottom of the ocean about 200 million years of geological history ago. Harsh erosion processes have carved steep, jagged peaks, with some stone columns reaching an incredible height of up to 330 feet. The rugged terrain helps preserve a unique ecosystem where 90% of flora and fauna species do not exist anywhere else. Humans can currently only explore this wonder using specialized climbing equipment to cross over the most dangerous rock faces. Located on the coast of County Antrim in Northern Ireland, Giant's Causeway showcases 40,000 black hexagonal stone columns, creating a very unusual geological structure. These basalt blocks fit so tightly that their total combined length would stand 40 times higher than the world's tallest skyscraper if stacked. The polygonal pillars possess precision, as if carved by tools formed from cooling lava flows that created these mysterious and perfect geometric cracks. The flat stone surface forms a sturdy silk ribbon, leading straight into the ocean, blurring the boundaries between natural creation and human-made architecture. Local legends tell that this is the path built by the giant Finn McCool to cross the vast ocean to challenge his great rival. This World Heritage Site resembles a giant, fossilized electronic circuit board made of stone, recording the massive tectonic shifts of the Earth 60 million years ago. This is the Sargasso Sea in the North Atlantic, the only sea on Earth defined by ocean currents rather than land borders, creating a unique circular boundary. Known for legends of the missing circle, this area is where ancient ships were often trapped by calm winds and thick mats of floating golden seaweed. Flying over the sea, you witness a deep blue expanse covered in vast patches of brown sargassum looking like a floating garden, drifting across the open water. Covering 2 million square miles, this floating forest provides food and shelter for unique species and acts as a vital nursery for migratory animals across the globe. Sailors often recount stories of a forest of algae where ships seem to sink into blue clouds, turning the reality of drifting at sea into a legend. As a sea without owners, Sargasso stands as a symbol of international cooperation, requiring nations to look beyond political boundaries to protect a shared treasure of the planet. The Namib Desert, located in the country of Namibia, is the oldest arid region on the planet, with a history of at least 55 million years. In this area, the vibrant orange-red dune systems dominate the space and possess record-breaking peaks reaching over 1,200 feet. This landscape was created from the oxidation of iron content within the sand through millions of years of persistent and harsh geological formation. The Namib-Naukluft area causes overwhelming awe due to the direct intersection where massive sand walls plunge straight into the waters of the Atlantic Ocean. Life in this land is sustained based on a modest amount of water from coastal fog, with average annual rainfall reaching only 0.4 inches. These unusual characteristics turn the Namib into a unique World Heritage Site, preserving the most primitive traces of the Earth. Located in the Potosi highlands of Bolivia, the geological wonder known as Salar de Uyuni spans a massive area of 4,085 square miles. This is the largest salt flat in the world, formed by the evaporation of prehistoric salt lakes from about 40,000 years ago. The surface is perfectly flat to the point that the elevation difference across the entire vast area is less than 3 feet. When rainwater covers the salt crust, this landmark transforms into a giant mirror, reflecting the sky to create a surreal landscape. This white treasure currently holds over 10 billion tons of salt, along with a huge lithium reserve that is vital for global industry. The strange geological structure and grand tectonic scale make Saladeu Uni the most unique destination on our planet. In Finland, Kummakivi appears as a large, natural rock balanced on a very small base, forming a rare geological structure that is difficult to explain through simple observation. The rock was moved during the late Ice Age about 10,000 years ago, when thick ice masses hundreds of feet deep began to melt. The rock is about 20 feet long and weighs several hundred tons, but only touches the ground at a very limited area while remaining stable. The contact surface between the two rocks is naturally rounded, helping distribute force evenly and maintain long-term balance. Observers can apply light force and see slight movement, but it is not enough to change the overall position of the rock. The rock has remained in the same place for thousands of years, without noticeable movement, despite its clearly unbalanced shape. A giant stone eye, lying in the middle of the Mauritania desert, gazes straight up at the sky, creating awe for anyone who sees the Rishat structure. with a massive diameter of approximately 30 miles. This geological structure possesses concentric rings so perfect they are almost unbelievable. Astronauts frequently call it the Eye of the Sahara, using it as a landmark for navigation from space due to its distinctive shape and grand scale. The limestone ridges here reach heights of over 1,300 feet, creating a layered landscape that showcases the beauty of tectonic formation. Its origin is linked to a process where magma pushed ancient sedimentary rock layers upward about 100 million years ago. This site has been officially recorded in the list of 100 World Geological Heritage Sites thanks to its unique and distinct geometric structure. In faraway Namibia, the Sossusvlei landmark, located within Namib-Naukluft National Park, possesses some of the most peculiar and overwhelming geological structures on this planet. The most characteristic feature of this land is the giant, star-shaped sand dunes with heights reaching a record level of nearly 1,300 feet. Vibrant red sand masses surround a pure white clay pan, creating a sharp contrast in color and structure. The anomaly of the landscape also lies in the blackened, scorched acacia tree trunks that have stood dead in place for over 600 years without decomposing. This phenomenon occurred due to the movement of an ancient river leaving behind a fossilized plant graveyard on the cracked earth. The entire Sossusvlei area resembles a grand sculpture crafted from the process of iron oxidation and harsh erosion. Preikestolen in Norway appears as a large, flat rock surface shaped by glacial forces and positioned directly at the edge of a high cliff. The The plateau stands about 1,980 feet high, with a flat surface close to 80 by 80 feet, forming a stable platform above a large drop. The rock is made of hard granite, shaped by glacial erosion over many thousands of years, creating a clearly defined flat top. The front edge drops almost vertically without intermediate slopes, forming a sharp boundary between solid ground and open space. There are no railings or barriers, allowing people to stand freely near the edge and observe the full depth below. Annual visitors exceed 300,000, yet the surface remains stable without significant deformation over time. Spanning the border of Argentina and Brazil, Iguazu Falls is a gargantuan waterfall system formed from geological faults following massive ancient volcanic eruptions. With a width of 1.7 miles, the terrain structure here creates a network of hundreds of intertwining flows cascading down basalt cliffs. The most overwhelming highlight is a chasm over 262 feet deep, where a massive water volume forms eternal clouds of mist. The combination of reddish-brown rock foundations and the surrounding tropical rainforest ecosystem creates an extremely unusual geological landscape. Constant rainbows appear due to light reflecting through the dense shroud of water droplets covering the entire space of this wonder. This is a unique natural world heritage site demonstrating the intense tectonic power of the Earth over millions of years. Stepping into the wave at Coyote Butte North in Arizona feels like entering another planet where sandstone structures curve in mesmerizing patterns. These swirling rock bands formed during the Jurassic period, approximately 190 million years ago, from ancient sediment layers. This geological formation is actually composed of massive sand dunes compressed and fossilized by minerals into a durable stone structure. To preserve the fragile stone ridges, authorities only allow a maximum of 64 lucky people to visit this site each day. Exploring this wonder requires adventurers to complete a 6-mile round-trip hike across the rugged and trackless desert terrain. The entire landscape offers an overwhelming tectonic scale with deep U-shaped rock channels that create a truly unique visual experience. Angel Falls, hidden within the Canaima National Park of Venezuela, is a geological wonder that possesses an intense attraction for any traveler. This majestic waterfall officially holds the title of the world's highest free-falling waterfall, with a record total height of 3,212 feet. The terrain structure here is extremely distinct as the water pours down from sandstone table mountains featuring flat tops and vertical cliffs. Due to the massive freefall height, the water flow frequently disperses and transforms into white mist shrouds before reaching the ground. Millions of years of isolation on these high mountains have preserved a primitive ecosystem with many plant species that do not exist elsewhere. Accessing this landmark can only be done by small aircraft or motorized boat because there are no roads leading through the jungle. Located in the Meta Department of Colombia, the site known as Cano Cristales attracts all eyes due to its rare, surreal beauty in the natural world. This river has become globally famous thanks to its ability to change vibrant colors from shades of red and yellow to green. This strange phenomenon is created by the aquatic plant Macarinia clavigera, clinging to ancient quartz blocks under the riverbed. Large cylindrical rock holes appear scattered along the flow due to the long-term process of geological erosion. The purity of the water source makes it difficult for fish species to survive, but helps the aquatic vegetation grow extremely strongly. This unusual landscape transforms the entire area into a vivid natural painting with an overwhelming tectonic scale. Located high in the Andes between Peru and Bolivia, Lake Titicaca is a freshwater lake where human life takes place directly on a vast water surface. The lake sits at about 12,500 feet, where reduced air pressure forces the human body to adapt to lower oxygen levels. Floating structures are built from layered reeds stacked together, forming a stable base that can support long-term living conditions. The lake covers more than 3,000 square miles, creating a continuous water surface that extends to the distant horizon. Within this system, people rely on reed boats and natural resources to maintain daily activities directly on the water. Reed layers used as floating foundations can reach between 3 and 6 feet thick, allowing multiple people to live and move within a limited space. Abraham Lake in Canada is a man-made lake where frozen methane bubbles stack into visible layers across the winter surface, creating a rare natural structure. Methane bubbles form from organic decomposition at the bottom and become trapped as the surface freezes in layers over time. The lake stretches about 20 miles, allowing this bubble phenomenon to appear across a wide area and be observed from many different positions. The clear ice can be thicker than 12 inches, making it possible to see stacked bubble columns formed during multiple freezing stages. The best viewing time usually occurs in midwinter, when the ice reaches a high level of clarity for observation. Some bubbles remain as small, round shapes, only a few inches wide, yet stay preserved inside the ice for extended periods. In southern France lies Verdun Gorge, a massive limestone canyon where the land surface is deeply cut into continuous, near-vertical cliff walls. The rock surface contains many cracks and long grooves reflecting different stages of erosion throughout its geological history. The river below shows a stable green color, caused by dissolved minerals, making the flow path clearly visible across the entire area. Inside the canyon, some sections become very narrow, where the two rock walls move closer, creating a compressed, horizontal space. The canyon extends about 15 miles and reaches depths of around 2,300 feet, shaped by erosion over tens of millions of years. Air compressed between the two cliff walls creates localized wind currents that move faster than the surrounding areas. Columbia River Gorge in the United States is a massive canyon where the Columbia River cuts through ancient basalt, revealing geological layers formed over millions of years. Geological research confirms this landscape was shaped by massive Ice Age floods, with water volume exceeding 10 times the combined flow of major rivers today. This area is one of the most popular windsurfing locations, with average wind speeds around 25 miles per hour. Steep cliffs extend continuously along both sides, forming a deep and clearly defined geological corridor through the landscape. Thick basalt layers record a long sequence of volcanic activity that built up the structure over extended geological periods. Floodwaters in ancient events could exceed the combined flow of all modern rivers by many times based on geological estimates. Mushroom Rock State Park in Kansas is a natural rock area where mushroom-shaped formations average about 20 feet tall, formed through erosion over long periods. This is one of the smallest state parks within the United States park system. The unique shapes appear when lower layers erode faster, leaving a wider and more stable upper section. The rocks belong to Dakota sandstone, with an age of about 110 million years confirmed by stratigraphic studies. The top section is often about 3 times wider than the base because the upper layer erodes more slowly. The upper rock layer is significantly harder than the lower layer, which helps maintain the stable mushroom-like structure. Across what seems like a familiar ground surface, stone forest in China reveals an unusual structure where limestone rises vertically into thousands of dense stone pillars. This area formed from limestone about 270 million years old and was once under the sea before being lifted by tectonic movement. The rock columns grow upward, creating narrow gaps that divide the space into complex, natural pathways across the entire landscape. Limestone dissolves slowly at an average rate of about 1 millimeter per year, yet continues long enough to create sharp and detailed formations. Many geomorphology studies identify this as one of the most typical karst models, with surface structures almost fully exposed without soil cover. In some areas, the density of stone pillars reaches thousands per square mile, making it one of the most concentrated stone forests ever recorded. The Zambezi River flows over a mile wide before plunging into a geological crack on the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe to create Victoria Falls. This location holds the Guinness record for the largest sheet of falling water, with a width of 5,604 feet and a height of 354 feet. The unique geological structure forces the massive flow into a narrow fissure before it escapes through several zigzagging gorges. Immense pressure pushes a column of mist 1,300 feet into the air, forming white clouds visible from long distances. This constant moisture supports a lush rainforest ecosystem that grows right on the edge of the deep abyss. The entire surreal landscape of Victoria Falls resulted from the erosion of ancient basalt rock over many millions of years. Svartifoss waterfall nestles within the Vatnajökull National Park of Iceland, standing out for its white water cascading down from unique and jet-black hexagonal rock formations. These basalt blocks surrounding the waterfall resemble massive organ pipes created through a very slow solidification process of ancient and extremely thick flowing volcanic lava. This geological structure possesses a precise geometric beauty with sharp edges forming a natural black stone wall that feels both powerful and ancient. The total ice sheet area covering this entire region is so massive that melting completely would raise global sea levels by nearly 0.4 inches. The strange appearance of these dark tar stone cliffs served as the primary blueprint for architects to create iconic religious and artistic national buildings. Local basalt rock here owns superior hardness, equivalent to industrial metal abrasive materials, making them remarkably durable against the continuous destructive force of the stream. The Brimham Rocks complex, standing within the North Yorkshire region of England, is a collection of sandstone formations possessing extremely strange and unusual natural shapes. These giant rocks are over 320 million years old, formed from the sediments of an ancient river system long before the dinosaur era. There exist massive stones weighing hundreds of tons, yet standing balanced on a tiny contact point only about the size of a small stool. The erosion process from natural elements over millions of years has carved the rock surfaces into flowing decorative patterns and many small porous holes. Every year, about 250,000 people come here to directly touch these natural sculptural masterpieces, which are currently being strictly protected. This area is located at an altitude of 984 feet above sea level, surrounded by vibrant wild flowers, creating a strong contrast. The Okavango Delta Wonder in Botswana is a strange river system where the flowing water vanishes into the desert instead of reaching the open sea. Every year, about 388 billion cubic feet of water flows in, but over 95% is evaporated or absorbed completely. The flooded area can expand to nearly 6,000 square miles, creating a giant green oasis located in the middle of the dry, burning sand. Termite mounds reaching 10 feet high serve as the natural foundations to form thousands of large and small islands scattered throughout the entire delta. The water transportation network here is maintained by paths through reed beds created by migrating elephant herds trampling the ground over many long centuries. These dense reed beds act like a massive natural filter, helping to keep the water always crystal clear and pure while winding into the desert. Located within the coast mountains of British Columbia in Canada, Garibaldi Provincial Park displays a geological appearance that is extremely dramatic and very powerful. Sharp mountain peaks carrying the dark colors of volcanic rock rise straight into the sky to create a horizon that is jagged and bold. The landscape here, formed from molten magma eruptions through thick glacial layers, creating many rock structures that are quite strange and very unique. The brilliant turquoise color of the lakes appears because of fine rock flour particles suspended in the water, reflecting natural light in mysterious ways. A massive cliff, nearly 1,000 feet high, serves as a natural dam that holds back a vast lake located right behind its stone wall. Eternal glaciers continuously move and erode the rocky ground surface to create many deep valleys that possess an untouched and very pristine natural beauty. Antarctica is a massive continent, situated at the Earth's southernmost point, where it possesses surreal and mysterious geological structures. Covering an area of approximately 5.5 million square miles, this land holds the record as the planet's largest desert due to extremely low precipitation. This continent is covered by a massive ice sheet with an average thickness of 1.2 miles, containing 70% of the world's fresh water. The immense weight from the millennial ice has pressed the entire continental crust down approximately 1,600 feet from its original position. Icebergs breaking off from here have overwhelming tectonic scales, sometimes possessing an area larger than 4,200 square miles on the ocean. The existence of complex systems of rivers and lakes hidden deep beneath the thick ice makes Antarctica the most distinct geological wonder of humanity. The Gros Morne National Park on the island of Newfoundland in Canada is an outdoor geological museum preserving secrets about the structure of our planet. Those bright orange rock masses are actually the mantle layer lying deep underground, pushed to the surface through powerful and ancient tectonic collisions. This rocky area contains extremely high concentrations of heavy metals, causing most plant species to be unable to grow and creating a barren look. The freshwater lakes here were originally ancient sea bays trapped by land after the massive ice sheets melted and the ground rose up. Vertical cliffs surrounding the lakes reach a height of nearly 2,000 feet, creating a majestic landscape in the cold region of North Atlantic. In 1987, UNESCO recognized this place as a World Heritage Site for its unique geological value, proving the theory of plate tectonics. This is the Hunza Valley, a massive continental stone basin deep within the Karakoram Range, where the sky almost touches the snowy peaks. Once an independent principality, the ancient forts of Hunza still stand tall on the cliffs to guard the historic mountain trails of Central Asia. Viewed from above, the valley resembles a deep stone canyon, with the Hunza River winding like a shimmering ribbon through vibrant shades of gold and red. The cliffs here are deeply carved by glaciers and rainwater, creating unique chronological signatures etched into the massive structures over hundreds of feet. Local residents are famous for living between 100 and 120 years thanks to a plant-based diet and constant mountain activity. When spring arrives, thousands of apricot trees bloom in pure white, creating a soft floral map that blankets the valley amidst the silent mountains. This is Devil's Kettle in Minnesota, a mystery that for decades appeared to defy physics by swallowing half a river into a bottomless pit within an ancient rock bed. The river splits into two branches. One flows over the cliff, while the other pours into a stone kettle, acting as a drain that convinces observers the water vanished. For years, people tossed objects into the void, fueling theories that the water traveled through secret tunnels directly into Lake Superior, but no trace was ever found by anyone. A major turning point came in 2017, when researchers announced that the water does not disappear, but resurfaces just a few hundred feet further down the main river. Since the terrain consists of incredibly hard volcanic rock, rather than porous limestone, the formation of large underground caverns is nearly impossible, making this disappearing act even more unique. Arches National Park sits atop an ancient salt bed, where deep fractures in the earth created the perfect conditions for these magnificent stone arches to form. Home to over 2,000 natural stone openings, this park holds the highest density of arches in the world, appearing like a city carved by time. Ancient petroglyphs, left by the Ute people on the red walls, serve as spiritual maps depicting figures and sacred animals across the vast desert landscape. Entering the park, you see red stone arches rising like hundreds of open doors between heaven and earth, each offering a unique frame of the horizon. Looking down from the highest fins, the scattered arches resemble a field of stars on the ground, making you feel as if you are standing on the roof. The image of these red arches has become a global icon of the desert, where the sun and stone combine to create a profound and timeless philosophy. Located in the Vestland region of Norway, Nærøy Fjord is a deep blue ribbon, carved into granite by ancient glaciers and eventually filled by the cold rising sea. Medieval farms cling to the steep slopes, appearing as tiny dots on a giant stone canvas, symbolizing human life integrated with this rugged and harsh geological landscape. From high above Nærøy Fjord, winds between two massive mountain ranges, connecting coniferous forests and marshes into a complex, breathtaking ecological map that stretches toward the distant horizon. As boats move through the water, the vertical cliffs cause the sounds of wind and waterfalls to echo, transforming the entire fjord into a grand, natural acoustic chamber. Traveling between the towering walls provides a profound physical experience where human scale is dwarfed by the silent and majestic power of the ancient weathered surrounding stone. Recognized by UNESCO as a classic glacial landscape, this fjord remains a grand natural engine that has been continuously shifting and evolving for millions of years of history. In the middle of the crystal blue waters of Belize lies the Great Blue Hole, a magnificent ocean sinkhole with one of the most perfect circular shapes in the world. With a diameter spanning nearly 1,000 feet, this massive geological structure is large enough to fit 3 American football fields laid end-to-end across its surface. The deep abyss of 410 feet creates a powerful visual contrast between the dense navy blue center and the surrounding turquoise waters. Beneath the still water lies a system of giant limestone stalactites 40 feet long, proving this was once a dry cave during the Ice Age. Scientists have discovered ancient sediment at the bottom of the hole, which helps decode historical mysteries regarding the collapse of the Maya civilization. The Great Blue Hole is truly a surreal geological wonder that offers an overwhelming experience of exploration before the tectonic scale of Mother Nature. Isolated in the Patagonia region of Chile, the Marble Caves consist of a massive open-air marble labyrinth situated directly on the crystal-clear General Carrera Lake. This wondrous system was formed from solid marble blocks with an astonishing reserve reaching approximately 5 billion tons. Over the past 6,000 years, continuous water waves have eroded the hard rock walls to create exquisitely curved dome structures. The uniqueness of this landmark lies in its light-reflecting ability, which makes the entire interior glow with a vibrant turquoise color. This coloration changes flexibly depending on the lake's water levels, which are supplied directly by melting glaciers from the majestic Andes Mountains. To witness this masterpiece, travelers must journey 1,000 miles from the capital city before they can access the site by boat or kayak. The Atacama Desert in Chile's Antofagasta region appears like another planet, with its rugged terrain covered by layers of bright red iron oxide. The geological structure here is completely different, possessing giant salt flats hard as rock and sharp gypsum mountain ranges. With an average elevation of over 8,200 feet above sea level, this place holds the record as the driest non-polar desert in the entire world. The harshness of the soil has perfectly preserved ancient mummies dating back more than 7,000 years older than the mummies of Egypt. Currently, this area supplies about 27% of the global lithium reserves, a strategic mineral likened to the white gold of the future. It is these extraordinary geological and atmospheric characteristics that make this place the largest astronomical observation point for humanity. The Sahara Desert in North Africa is the largest hot desert on our planet, covering a massive area of 3.6 million square miles. The Richat structure is an unusual geological wonder with a diameter of 25 miles that amazes astronauts looking from outer space. This landmark features shifting sand seas of overwhelming tectonic scale, with dunes reaching heights of over 590 feet. The arid sand layers actually hide a great underground aquifer system capable of providing water for the entire world. The presence of ancient whale fossils in the heart of the desert proves this area was once the floor of the Tethys Ocean. Millions of tons of dust from this region travel across the ocean to provide essential nutrients for the distant Amazon rainforest ecosystem. The Gobi Desert, stretching across Mongolia and Inner Mongolia, China, is the largest desert in Asia, with an area of about 500,000 square miles. This landscape is unique because only about 5% of the area is sand, while the rest is covered by rocky gravel surfaces. This place possesses vibrant red cliffs and strange geological structures that look exactly like the surface of Mars. Scientists discovered the first dinosaur egg nests here, proving an ecological history from millions of years ago. Ancient animal bone fossils are perfectly preserved in the barren ground, helping humanity decode the origins of life. The Gobi Desert attracts global archaeological attention thanks to its massive tectonic scale and unusual wilderness beauty. You will surely be amazed when setting foot in Wadi Rum, a geological wonder located in the Aqaba Governorate of Jordan in the Middle East. With a protected area of about 278 square miles, this place possesses giant sandstone rock massifs rising vertically in the desert. This geological structure was formed from a massive crack in the Earth's crust, along with natural erosion processes lasting for millions of years. The valley surface is covered by a layer of red sand containing extremely high iron oxide content, creating a surreal landscape like Mars. Archaeologists have found more than 25,000 ancient rock carvings, proving the existence of humans here from 12,000 years ago. This landmark has been recognized by UNESCO as a dual World Heritage Site thanks to the unique combination of natural and cultural history values. On an ancient geological base that has been deeply fractured, Zhangjiajie National Forest Park in China forms a space where thousands of sandstone pillars rise vertically and stand apart from their original mass. The area contains more than 3,000 pillars, with many reaching heights between 600 and 1,000 feet, shaped over tens of millions of years. The pillars separated as water entered cracks and gradually broke the rock into clearly defined, independent columns over time. The terrain develops vertically with high density, making it difficult to observe the entire area at once from a single position. The rock surfaces show deep grooves and cracks reflecting different stages of erosion across long geological periods. Some pillars continue to detach from larger masses over time, showing that geological change is still actively occurring in this region. Stretching across the pristine fjordland within the Southland region of New Zealand, the Doubtful Sound Fjord appears as a giant groove cutting into the mountains. With a depth of nearly 1,400 feet, this basin is deep enough to completely submerge the tallest buildings under the mysterious dark blue water. This geological structure formed from the movement of ancient glaciers that carved out the limestone valleys more than 20,000 long years in the past. A layer of dark fresh water always floats above the salty sea surface, creating a strange habitat for rare black coral species to grow well. Hundreds of white waterfall ribbons simultaneously appear on the steep cliffs after heavy rains to create many brilliant and shimmering walls of falling water. This isolated ecosystem possesses populations of bottlenose dolphins and yellow-eyed penguins living amidst a space of absolute and very profound natural silence. The Earth possesses a mysterious Arctic region surrounding the North Pole and stretching across the territories of 8 different countries. The Arctic Circle, located at 66 degrees 33 minutes north, is the geographical boundary defining the area with unique natural phenomena. The landscape here is dominated by permanent glaciers, with an average thickness of about 1,300 feet, which are extremely solid. Brilliant aurora borealis dance in the sky due to the interaction between solar particles and the atmosphere of the planet. Tundra vegetation with moss and lichen creates a unique ecosystem on lands where no large trees can grow. This geological structure plays an important role in balancing the climate and serves as a window for humans to study the universe. Located in southern Oregon Crater Lake is a geological wonder formed from the collapse of the ancient Mount Mazama volcano. With a depth reaching 1,949 feet, this landmark officially holds the record as the deepest lake in the entire United States today. This entire massive basin contains approximately 4.9 trillion gallons of pure water accumulated only from natural rain and snowmelt. Since there are no rivers flowing in to bring sediment, the water clarity allows people to see down to a depth of 142 feet. The landscape is overwhelming, with vertical cliffs rising up to 2,000 feet, surrounding a 21-square-mile caldera. This unusual geological structure creates a perfectly isolated ecosystem that offers a surreal beauty rarely seen on Earth. The eternal snow-capped peaks at Aoraki and Mount Cook National Park in Canterbury, New Zealand, stand tall like a powerful and frozen mountain kingdom. The Southern Alps range here continues to grow about 0.4 inches every year due to the strong movement from various tectonic plates. The thickness of the main glacier in this area reaches nearly 2,000 feet, a massive figure, far exceeding the height of modern towers. Lakes at the mountain base possess a unique milky blue color because they contain fine rock flour crushed by the moving glacier ice. Native Maori people always consider the highest mountain peak as a sacred ancestor and maintain the habit of never stepping on its very top. About 1 million visitors visit annually to admire the sharp contrast between those jagged rock cliffs and the soft white mountain lily flowers.